Welcome to the Twisted Pint Tavern. Today we're taking a look at r/DnD to answer, does anyone else have any wild heist/infiltration stories from their sessions? My party just had a major battle at a mansion that came alive with ghosts every night. We're all a bit chaotic. Our rogue disguised himself as a ghost to get us in, demanding his entertainment join him. I charmed one of the servants into letting us upstairs to take on the big bad. Then we found a servant's staircase to the cellar and accidentally killed a sentient barrel that did repairs on the grounds, and ended up using his dead barrel body to intern the big bad's bones in wine. It was a fucking blast. My players once needed to infiltrate an evil noble's townhouse to collect evidence of his crimes. One plan they considered was to summon an imp, have the imp enter the house while invisible, find a window, and open it. Have the dwarf wizard climb into the party's bag of holding. He was just small enough to fit if they took everything out. Have another player's owl familiar carry the bag of holding to the open window. Have the dwarf wizard climb out of the bag of holding. Now he's successfully entered the house without being detected. I was so disappointed when they decided against it. I was completely ready to give the entire table inspiration. See, sometimes it's the simple plans that end up working the best. I mean, dwarf in a bag of holding, what beats that? Our game yesterday, we're trying to take out a gang of bandits. The druid wild-shaped into a raven to get inside the keep and gather some info. Kinda pushed her luck and annoyed a bandit that shot an arrow at her. Bet you 2 silver you can't hit that raven. The bandit rolled well enough, and our druid popped out a wild shape in the middle of the enemies with the rest of the party unaware outside. We couldn't do anything to help. She somehow managed to convince them she could be useful and is now pretending to join their ranks. She sent us a message to inform us, using the animal messenger spell, next session's gonna be fun. Group I was/am a player in. The setting, a coliseum ran by criminals and mercenaries and led by a brutal orc. The goal, steal a magical artifact, a dagger from the orc. Problem is, it never leaves his side. The cast, me, Viking-inspired human storm sorcerer/fighter. Han, samurai-inspired Oath of the Sato homebrew paladin. Milo, quick-fingered halfling bard who excelled at thieving. Buddy, morally gray dragonborn Circle the Spores druid, and Merrick, dragoon-esque half-orc NPC who was with us. The plan? What, you think there was a plan? No, we said that we were scouting and this happened. I sent my familiar, a lizard, into the viewing box of the orc. Buddy wild-shaped into a lizard to spy on the orc. Milo went invisible and snuck through the chambers of the Colosseum and got to the orc's viewing box. Now, the box was about 30 feet away from any surface that could be scaled to access it. Fortunately, me and Han both had Misty Step. Also, as a note, none of this was communicated to each other. It happened as so. Milo, still invisible, slipped the dagger off the orc's belt. Han and I Misty stepped up to the platform and began combat. Buddy unwild-shaped and joined in. Milo escaped and ran back to our meeting place. At this point, a recurring enemy showed up and things got messy. Han killed the orc one-on-one, but the recurring spellcaster raised his corpse against us. He also cast Cloud Kill on me and Buddy, but I dispersed it with a gust of wind. Buddy cast Gaseous Form and escaped. Han escaped, and our friendly NPC led the spellcaster away. I, seeing no way out, decided to jump out of the nearest window, 500 feet in the air. I fell, took just enough damage to fall unconscious, and rolled a natural 20 on my first death save. So broken, bloody, and out of resources, I hobbled back to the group. This was easily one of the top 3 best moments of the entire campaign so far. Only met by Han 1v1ing an orc chieftain to stop a war, and my real character, a tiefling warlock paladin, fighting a vampire solo while we both burned from my own wall of fire. Those are all pretty high octane, but fighting a vampire while you're in your own wall of fire just has that special spice. I have a buddy that is notorious for derailing campaigns carefully set up by the DM in a way. I think his original best was one where the hook was that we were all getting blamed for a murder, and rather than protest his innocence, he animated the dead guy and used him like a ventriloquist puppet to convince the cops he wasn't actually dead. The DM never saw it coming, and unfortunately was not as quick on his feet mentally. We still refer to a sudden change of plans as animating the body. My players shocked the hell out of me a few weeks ago with a well-planned and executed heist. They had to infiltrate a noble's house that was only accessible by private lifts, avoid detection, find the magic key to the vault, find the vault, and steal a journal from said vault. They used invisibility and spider familiars to scout the interior ahead of time, so they had a decent layout of that place. 2 of them posed as associates of a powerful benefactor coming to offer a gift to the Lord. When the lift was lowered for them to enter, a third-party member who had been made invisible joined them on the lift and slipped off at the top to a nearby courtyard with a statue that they knew about from the familiar recon. The two opposing players gave the Lord a rare and powerful artifact that they had obtained earlier in the campaign as a gesture of good faith and eagerness to do business on behalf of their made-up benefactor. The invisible player used Meld with Stone to hide in the courtyard statue. As the two were leaving, they messaged the third that the artifact had been delivered, and he cast Locate Object on the artifact from within the statue, mentally tracking its location throughout the manor until it vanished. Location of the vault acquired. The stone-melded member waited in the statue until nightfall, exited the stone, cast silence on one of the nearby lifts, and engaged it to lower it to the rest of the waiting party. Silence was a good touch. Once all were inside, they stealthily moved from room to room until they found a small clockwork dragon that the Lord kept as a pet. They knew from their recon that this clockwork dragon would go and fetch items around the house in exchange for gold, which it eats like dog treats. They showed the clockwork dragon a large handful of gold and told him to go fetch the pendant the Lord keeps on or near him at all times, and showed them an example of a similar one. The dragon took off, found the pendant in the Lord's chambers, and brought it to the party in exchange for his gold treats. Key acquired. They went to the spot where the artifact disappeared, found a large standing mirror, held up the pendant, and the mirror shifted into a portal and they entered. Access to the vault gained. They found and retrieved their artifact, found the journal, and were able to escape the vault and avoided getting fried by the massive clockwork behir that guarded the vault. Mission accomplished. Best part was, they knew there was only one key to this vault, and before they exited, they purposely left the key in the vault, so the Lord doesn't have access to a huge portion of his wealth anymore, which will massively impede his ability to track down whoever robbed him. As an extra insult to the Lord, they convinced the clockwork dragon to come with them, so they have a new pet now. A clockwork dragon that eats gold, but in return fetches things for you. Yeah, I think I need that in a campaign. Thanks for stopping by the Twisted Pint Tavern, and can you tell the goblin out front to wrap up his smoke break on your way out? Leave a like if you enjoyed the stories and subscribe if you want to become a regular. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.